Hey, folks, Critical Thinker with a challenge to all of you researchers out there. And this is not clickbait. You have my word on that. I plan on, if the footage I seek is found within 72 hours of the posting of this video, I plan on sending whoever finds it $100 cash to an address of your choice. I'm not going to do PayPal. I'm not going to do any sort of online transaction. Suffice it to say, you have my word of honor. I want this footage, and this is something I just can't let go of. I do this a couple times a year. I spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I know it's an exercise in futility, but I do it anyway. But this time, I have a YouTube channel, so I'm going to call on a little help, a little backup, if you will. I really want to find this footage because it's a story that I can't let go of. It's just very weird. It's a weird little story. So what are we looking for? I'm going to read to you about a third of this, and I will leave a link of this from what I'm reading in the description page, but I'm only going to read a third of it. The latter two-thirds get into reasons which are hypothetical and really serve no purpose in the quest. So this article is called Gore Shapeshifted on National TV. It's been brought to our attention by highly reliable sources, and this is no joke, that on one of his recent appearances before the national news media since the post-election pandemonium has gotten into high gear, Al Gore was plainly, for all the world to see, observed to go through major and literally physiologically impossible facial changes while talking before the cameras. So that's your first clue. The national news media since the post-election pandemonium. Now, this took place as he was vice president, so is this the first election or the second election? I don't know. We have not seen this footage with our own eyes, and thus cannot comment directly on this issue. But as we said, this is no BS whatsoever, and was seen by a number of people. I actually remember this, which is why I can't let go of it, because I didn't see the actual live event, but I remember seeing a replay of it, and they talked about it for a good 2 days. This is still when the press, was still somewhat, aware of their function. You had, I think, Brokaw, Jennings. I think maybe you had Bernie Shaw still active at CNN. Those three were sort of the last vestiges of the thinking man's anchor. And now they're just personalities and talking heads, non-thinking entities who read from a box and are paid really well for it, by the way. It's ridiculous. I digress, excuse me. Continuing on, apparently all the networks were using the same feed from one or several designated cameras, so the same footage was apparently broadcast on all network news reports of the talk by Gore. It was described that during his talk, Gore's complexion went through utterly radical and astonishing changes, going from a deeply flushed red to a sallow, grayish-yellow hue, and even to what's been called a greenish-gray cast at times. It was said that nothing else in the videotaped televised footage appeared to undergo any such drastic and rapid changes in observed color. In fact, I remember them talking about that. They were, well, what's wrong with Al Gore? Is his health okay? And they even discussed, well, it's not video distortion because nobody else is going through these observable changes. So it was just very weird. Overall, Gore's appearance was described as somewhat haggard, perhaps due to overtiredness, sallow, and a little hyper. Now, something is definitely going on here. Normal, sane people of all sorts do not somehow just independently see the same extraordinarily bizarre thing take place unless it's really happening. There are several possibilities, and then the latter two-thirds of that are just going through the possibilities. Like I said, I'll leave a description so you can read it for yourself. But just again, to reiterate, now here's the weird thing. I remember, as a caveat to that story, shortly after, I think it was at JFK Airport, it was reported that on his person was sort of this little doctor's bag in which he keeps blood. I don't think it was ever reported if there were, glass vials of blood or the sort of plastic pouch containers one finds in a blood bank. Is that even significant? I don't know. So, but I just thought that an odd little caveat, particularly when, as vice president, you're not going through Checkpoint Charlie. You're going right to the tarmac and onto your plane. So it was never determined who actually found it. And, but anyway, this is the challenge. I want you to help me find this footage. You have 72 hours from the posting of this vid. After 72 hours, if nothing is found, I will remove the video. And honestly, I spent $100 on stuff I've never even used. So I really want to find this footage. I do, but I need a little help, I think. So, and you have my word of honor. This is not clickbait. I'm very serious about this. So, anyway, good luck, and let the games begin. Have a good one.